Hello friends, suicide is a global public health problem and Nigeria is one of the epicenter of suicide in the world. Deputy Director of Medical Social Service, Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, and Training Coordinator, Suicide Research Prevention Initiative, Dr. Titilayo Tade, expresses concern for suicide rates in Nigeria in 2019, as it was 6.9% out of 1,000 people, which was higher than 6.5% rate in 2012, but underreported or miscoded. Nigeria has the highest rate of suicide and depression in Africa. The current rate of suicide in Nigeria is 9.50% out of 100,000 people. According to World Health Organization, there are 9.5% suicide for every 100,000 Nigeria. Suicide is a crime in Nigeria, according to Section 327 of the Criminal Code, punishable by 1 year imprisonment, though in February 15, 2022, House of Representatives made a strong move to replace 1 year jail term with community service and counseling as punishment for attempted suicide. And the Nigerian government has banned sniper and insecticide commonly used for suicide in an attempt to curb suicide cases in Nigeria. Health experts cite chronic insomnia, long-term pain, depression, rejection, amongst other things, as factors that causes suicide killings in Nigeria. Life can be draining and demanding, right? Sometimes we just get tired and want out because we refuse to calm down.
Calm down.
I should calm down.
Yes.
I should calm down.
Yes. Don't be angry.
Ó ṣe jẹ́ pé nǹkan tó bá gbélé ẹ lọ́wọ́ ló máa lọ ń kó.
No, I'm just telling you to be calming down.
Don't calm me down. Don't calm me down.
I want you to be calm down. So if that rest to be small, you must rest, mommy. You must rest a little.
I should rest before I beat you.
No. Just rest like this.
Bọ́ sílẹ̀, What you fẹ́ know?
I wish he listened and did as the little son said. It was reported that the mother of the little boy committed suicide, leaving her children and her husband all by themselves. A sad story indeed. I'm not doing this alone. I've got Mr. Humphrey on the show. Thank you very much, Mr. Humphrey, for joining me. He said that 9.5% of 100,000 people commit suicide in Nigeria, mainly because of depression, rejection, poverty, and the likes. What's your take in the rise of suicide killing in Nigeria and possible way to curb it, if any?
Thank you very much, Mr. Elijah Wilson, for this wonderful opportunity once more to be on this program. Well, as you all already know, my name is Humphrey Igbo, and of course, it's always nice being on this program. So today's topic is suicide killing. And the question I'm asked is, what are some of the factors that prompt people into committing suicide? Well, I'm going to be straight to the point, as usual, because of time constraint. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm going to be classifying the factors that prompt people into committing suicide into 4 categories. I'm going to be grouping them into 4 categories, yes. Number 1, social factors, economic factors, political factors, and financial factors. Now, I'll go straight to it. Now, social factors. Under the social factors, we have factors like loss of loved ones. We have factors like shame and humiliation. We have factors like paternity fraud. Now, loss of loved ones. Now, we all know how devastating losing a loved one could be to a person. Now, when a person loses a loved one and the person does not have the fortitude to bear the loss, it can be so frustrating and that person could run into depression and eventually take his or her life. It's as simple as that. Then again, shame and humiliation. A person could be in a very shameful and humiliating condition or circumstance and may want to take his or her life. For example, a couple of months back, I read about a pastor who slept with the wife of his choir master. Now the news got out to the whole congregation through their WhatsApp platform and all that. So the pastor got so frustrated and depressed because he could no longer take the humiliation and the disgrace. So he just had to take his own life to end everything. So that's it. Then again, paternity fraud. Paternity fraud is simply when a woman is pregnant for Mr. A but pins the pregnancy on Mr. B. Now, paternity fraud has become a major crisis in our present-day society and has led a lot of persons into committing suicide. For example, I read about a man that was having 4 kids with his wife. Now, one thing led to the other, he was suspicious of the wife and he carried out a DNA test for the 4 children. Now, to his greatest surprise, none of the kids were his own. And these were grown-up kids. Now, the man was so frustrated to the extent that he had to kill his wife and he killed himself. He committed murder and suicide all at the same time. So that's it for the social category. Now, let's talk about economy. I'll be addressing economic factors and political factors together because they kind of work hand in hand. Now, as you will agree with me, we all know that we need a good governance to have good economy in a particular country. Now, let's talk about our beloved Nigeria. It's obvious even to the blind, the dumb, and the deaf that the political setup in Nigeria is very poor. It's very, very bad. And as a result, it has affected the economy negatively. And this in turn has had a very negative impact on the general masses. Now, people are no longer able to meet their basic necessities. And this has driven a lot of people into depression. Some have committed suicide. It's as simple as that. So that's for the political and economic factors. Now, let's talk about the financial factors. Now, the financial factor could be one of 2 ways. The first way is people get to make risky investments every now and then. And sometimes when they make these investments, sometimes with their life savings, they could even borrow funds to make these risky investments. Now, when the investment does not turn out in the way they want it to, they kind of, find it difficult to adapt to the results they got. Now, some may actually commit suicide because of the bad result they've gotten. For example, let's talk about cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, there's a slogan that always goes with it. Do not invest an amount you can't afford to lose. You know why? Because the market is very volatile. It's not something you can control. It's not something you can easily predict. Now, a lot of people they've invested money in cryptocurrency, and when they eventually run at loss, they are unable to bear the loss. Some have committed suicide because they've lost huge amount of money to cryptocurrency. Now, that is for the first aspect of the financial category. Now, let's check out the other side of it. Now, the other side is there are people that are actually paid financial gratification just to commit suicide. You've heard of cases of suicide bombing. People are paid to commit suicide. Sometimes they are promised to, people make promises to them to pay a certain amount of money to their family if only they will carry out or they will embark on a suicide mission, which they will eventually do, and the gratification is paid to their family. Now, you see, I've mentioned social category, economic factors, political factors, and financial factors. There are other factors like religious factors and health factors. Now, there are a host of factors that prompt people into committing suicide. But for the sake of time, I've dealt with 4 categories, which I'm very, very much sure is clear to you all. Well, I was also asked to talk about the possible solutions to, reducing suicide killing in Nigeria. Well, for me, I would say suicide is a personal thing. So I don't think there's any, special measure that can be put in place to reduce suicide or suicide intention in the hearts of people. But I think there's a little thing the government can do, though. Now, we mentioned political and economic factors that could influence people to commit suicide. Now, you will agree with me that to have good governance, to have good political setup and good economy, it lies in the hands of the government. So if the government can give us good governance that will lead to good economy, that will reduce the difficulties that the general masses will have to go through every day just to, meet their daily necessities. And that would in turn reduce the intention to commit suicide. That is for those whose reason to commit suicide is the bad economy and difficulties in meeting their daily necessities. Then again, I also understand that the government has banned products like sniper and other insecticide. Fine, it's a good move, but like I said, suicide is a personal thing. It's a personal decision. So I think the best thing one can do is to appeal to the heart of people. Now, I'm appealing to you watching this video. Now, if you're watching this video and you think you are going through, difficulties, you are going through, life challenges, I just want to let you know that it's not the end of the world, and you're not the only one going through those problems. There are other people that are also going through similar problems. So it's not the end of the world. So if God in his throne has given you the opportunity, the privilege to keep living, even amidst your life challenges, your problems, then it means he has a plan for you. He has not given up on you. So do not call it a quit when God has not given up on you. So this is my point, Mr. Elijah Wilson. thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to be on this program once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Humphrey, for doing this with me. Viewers, I think and I believe that life is precious and should be guided jealously, right? I know say you don't hustle tire. Some of you don't even have holidays. I know you've written loads and loads of application. You've gone for a series of audition. Yes, it seems that nothing is forthcoming, right? Keep trying and keep praying. It is not very peculiar to you. Why should it be after all? Don't be only you, King Jesus, with plenty for there. Until next time, from me, it's eat, sleep, conquer, repeat. I am Elijah Wilson. See you next time. Bye.